Hare Krishna. Somebody can please lead the invocation prayers.
Prabhuji, may I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Om Anjana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chatsurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutali Swayam Rupa Karamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Ham Sri Guru Sri Yupapata Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavscha Sri Rupam Sakratam Sahagana Raghunathan Hamsa Jeevam Sadvaitam Savadodam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Srinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanu Sutadevi Pranamave Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvaya Ivacha Patinam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah Hare Krishna.
Excellent. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. So today we will start Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse 12 onwards, which is the start of unit number 3. So unit number 3 runs from Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse 12 up to the end of Chapter 9. So you all had a spiritual endeavor to read through Chapter 7 from verse 12 onwards to find out whether you have what are the reasons for killing Ashwatthama and what are the reasons for not killing Ashwatthama, and whether you have a clear-cut answer whether or not to kill Ashwatthama. So let's begin with you all answering this question. What did you find?
Prabhuji, may I attempt?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. So Prabhuji, basically it was gray. It was not black and white that there were reasons for killing Ashwatthama and there were reasons against killing him. So while for killing Ashwatthama, the of course clear-cut reason was that he had mercilessly killed five sleeping sons of Draupadi. So there were so many, and then of course Krishna told him that you he's an aggressor, he must be killed. Though the scriptures say that a friend of Brahman is not to be killed. And then he had given a promise to his wife that he will bring his head and to take the revenge. So those were the reasons for killing him. And there were reasons which were, good enough for not killing him, that Draupadi finally was merciful. She didn't want to see him dead because he was, the son of a Brahman. And she was not happy to see him tied with ropes, etc. And that he was his guru's son also, that Dronacharya's son, who taught him archery. So basically, and Dronacharya was his wife, the mother of Ashwatthama, would be bereaving like she herself is. So she did not want that, she was merciful and she did not want to see him dead. So Krishna Bhagwan gave him, both the reasons that why he should be killed and not to be killed. And he actually was the one who created confusion. And so though he instructed Arjun to kill him, but he could understand that killing doesn't mean death. So killing can also be,
Okay.
stripping him of his,
Okay,
life
very
legs.
good. So
Thank you.
Pragya has done a detailed analysis and got a very good response about reasons to kill Ashwatthama, reasons to not kill Ashwatthama. It is Krishna causing confusion. Okay, very good. Rest of you? Hare Krishna, somebody?
Hare
Priyanka,
Krishna Prabhu.
Priyanka, go ahead first.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, the other confusion that I found was with Draupadi's response also. So initially when Arjuna mentioned to her to pacify her that he's going to chop his head off and behead him and bring his head in front of Draupadi, that's where she was grief-stricken and she was acting under emotion. But when he brought, when he bound Ashwatthama and brought him in front of her, that's when Draupadi said the things that she said. Don't kill him because he's your Kuru's son and he is still a Brahmana.
Yeah, very
And
good.
the other thing that brought up a confusion was within the Pandavas also. It was Yudhishthir Maharaj and the other Pandavas who said don't kill, and they were on the side of Draupadi. But then it was Bhima who did mention that you should go ahead and kill him. So that was
Okay.
another confusion.
Okay, very good. So on this point about Draupadi, we'll have a heavy discussion about this Draupadi's response as well. But very good. Priyanka also did a very good reading and detailed analysis and understanding. Nitya?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I agree with both the prior devotees. I think it was a test that was created by Lord Krishna to magnify and highlight the qualities of Arjuna, who was his pure devotee. I think in this case, he wanted to test Arjuna's response when he's placed with such a thing, and also to magnify his, his compassion, to magnify his beauty and the decision he took. So I think this is, as has it been in Bhagavad Gita, it is for all of us, the less intelligent people, to learn from it. And I think I also agree with the prior devotee that killing is not of the material body. So that was also another point.
Yeah, very good. Nitya also did a very good analysis. Shivangi?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'm just confused. So, who was causing the confusion? Was it? I thought it was Draupadi, but it's Krishna who was causing the confusion.
Yeah, very good. Hold your thought. You will understand very soon. Yes, it is Krishna causing the confusion, and there's a reason why he was causing the confusion. You'll understand all of this. Okay, very good. Shivangi also read it very nicely, and my task got accomplished to make you all remember Krishna besides the weekend classes that you all did. Very good spiritual endeavor. So have undivided attention. The crux of our discussion today is that Krishna glorifies the sense of duty of his pure devotees. So this is start of unit number 3. So from Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse number 12 onwards up to end of Chapter 9 is Unit 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Unit 3 is titled Prayers of Queen Kunti and Passing Away of Bhishma Dev in Presence of Lord Krishna. Chapter 7 is titled The Son of Drona Punished. Chapter 8 is titled Prayers of Queen Kunti and Parikshit Maharaj Saved. And chapter 9 is titled Passing Away of Bhishma Dev in the Presence of Lord Krishna. So chapter 7 overview is, we covered the part 1 and part 2 in unit number 2. Unit number 2 is the Narad Muni's instruction on Srimad Bhagavatam. Shivangi?
I'm sorry, Prabhuji, I didn't catch the name of Unit 3's title, if you would.
Okay. Unit 3 is titled prayers of Queen Kunti and passing away of Bhishma Dev in presence of Lord Krishna. So chapter 7, the first two parts we covered in unit number 2, and part number 3 is verses 12 to 34. Title is Arjuna Arrest Ashwatthama. So some divide this part number 3 into two parts. That one part is Ashwatthama kills the sleeping sons of Draupadi, and then Arjuna arrests, but either way it's overlapping. And we'll go with part number 3 from 12 to 34 as Arjuna arrests Ashwatthama. And then part number 4 is 35 to 58. The title is Arguments for and Against Killing Ashwatthama. So part number 3 is verses 12 to 34 where Arjuna arrests Ashwatthama. And the verses have few standalone topics, you can say. So from 13 and 14, Ashwatthama killed the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi. Of course, 2 of the sons are sons of Subhadra also. Then 17 and 18, Ashwatthama flees and Arjuna sets out to capture Ashwatthama. And verse number 19 is Ashwatthama releases his Brahmastra weapon. And this 22 to 26 is Arjuna prays to Krishna. These prayers are the first set of mini prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam. And from this point on, entire Srimad Bhagavatam is prayers after prayers after prayers after prayers after prayers. Essentially, entire Bhagavatam is prayers after prayers. These 4 verses, 22 to 26, are the first, but they are mini prayers. They are not full-fledged prayers. We'll see in chapter 8, the Kunti Maharani's prayers are the first set of full prayers. And then 29 to 32, Arjuna releases his own Brahmastra weapon, and then Arjuna retracts both Brahmastra weapon, meaning Arjuna retracts his own Brahmastra as well as the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama. So this connection of this topic of Ashwatthama's killing rampage. We'll go back to Canto 1. Chapter 4, verses 7, 9, and 10, where the questions from the sages are about Parikshit Maharaj, because sages knew that the activities of Parikshit Maharaj will lead to Krishna Katha. So let's read Canto 1, Chapter 4, verses 7, 9, and 10. Shivangi will read.
Hare Krishna, verse 7. How did it so happen that King Parikshit met this great sage, making it possible for this great transcendental essence of the Vedas, Bhagavatam, to be sung to him? Text 9. It is said that Maharaja Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord, and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him. Text 10. He was a great emperor and possessed all the opulences of his acquired kingdom. He was so exalted that he was increasing the prestige of the Pandu dynasty. Why did he give up everything to sit down on the bank of the Ganges and fast until death?
Very good. So the sages inquired about Parikshit Maharaj's birth and activities, and they knew that this is going to lead to Krishna Katha because Krishna is not without his devotees. Therefore, the topics about Krishna's devotees is also Krishna Katha. And the answers to these questions from Canto 1, Chapter 4, verses 7, 9, and 10 is basically in this Canto 1, Chapter 7 from verse 12 onwards. Now, before narrating the birth of Parikshit Maharaj, Suta Goswami first narrates the protection of Parikshit Maharaj by Krishna in the womb from the Brahmastra weapon of Ashwatthama. Okay, so let's now do the continuation from 1.4.79 and 10, and now we are 1.7.12. Priyanka?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sorry, I missed the verse.
1.7.12.
1.7. Verse 12, Suta Goswami thus addressed the rishis headed by Shaunaka. Now I shall begin the transcendental narration of the Lord Sri Krishna and topics of the birth, activities, and deliverance of King Parikshit, the sage amongst kings, as well as topics of the renunciation of the worldly order by the sons of Pandu. Hare Krishna.
So you saw the exact connection that what the sages asked in the previous verses, and Suta Goswami said, okay, now I will narrate what you asked earlier. Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
So verse number 13 and 14 is where the Kurukshetra war ends. So yes, the war has ended, but Duryodhana is not yet dead. Duryodhana is beaten down by Bhimadev, and his bones are broken and badly beaten. But Duryodhana is still alive. He's not yet dead. And in verse number 13 and 14 is where Duryodhana leaves his body. And this is where actually the Mahabharata war actually ends. Abhishek Prabhu, 13 and 14 translations.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. 13 and 14 translation. When the respective warriors of both camps, namely the Kauravas and the Pandavas, were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the dead warriors obtained their deserved destinations, and when the son of Dhritarashtra fell down lamenting, his spine broken, being beaten by the club of Bhimasen, the son of Dronacharya, Ashwatthama, beheaded the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi and delivered them as a prize to his master, foolishly thinking that he would be pleased. Duryodhana, however, disapproved of the heinous act, and he was not pleased in the least.
So Ashwatthama killed the 5 young princes of the Pandavas and brought the heads to Duryodhana. Now Duryodhana had a boon, or you can call it as a curse, either way, had this benediction that Duryodhana will leave his body when he is simultaneously pleased and not pleased. So when Ashwatthama brought the heads of these young prince in front of Duryodhana. So Duryodhana was pleased, okay, that Pandavas got killed, but simultaneously he was also not pleased because of the way Ashwatthama killed them. And that became the reason for Duryodhana leaving the body. And that's when the actual war ends. I mean, Duryodhana was anyway completely beaten down. but he's still not dead. He's still alive. But when he heard this news, so Duryodhana was simultaneously happy as well as unhappy. And that's when his benediction, whether it's a curse or a boon, got activated, and then Duryodhana left the body. Shivangi?
So he was happy that they were killed, Prabhuji?
You are correct. So Duryodhana wanted the Pandavas to be killed, right? So he was happy just for a moment, okay, that the Pandavas got killed, although he actually wanted the grown-up Pandavas to be killed. But at least some Pandavas got killed. Shivangi.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
But simultaneously, Duryodhana was also unhappy that the way Ashwatthama killed these children. Madan Prabhu?
So I have a question. Did Ashwatthama kill them by mistake because he thought they were Pandavas, or did he intentionally kill the sons of Draupadi?
So Ashwatthama went in the camp to kill the grown-up Pandavas. When Ashwatthama killed them, it was dark and he did not know who he was killing. He just went in the camp and there were 5 people sleeping. Ashwatthama thought he was killing the Pandavas, meaning Yudhishthir, Arjuna, Bhima, Nakul, Sahadev. But actually it was the children sleeping there.
Okay, thank you.
Arjuna.
Prabhuji, but I have a confusion here again. So in many of verse, even Krishna has said that you should kill Ashwadhama because he didn't please his master.
Yeah.
So if he was happy, then why it has been mentioned 2-3 verses that he has not even pleased his master?
Yeah, so you actually read the verse that we read, verse 13 and 14. Actually, Duryodhana was not pleased. So if, Archana, read the last line in 13, 14.
The Lord Chaitanya, Prabhuji, to start from there?
No, in Canto 1, chapter 7, verse 13 and 14, the very last line.
The translation you're talking?
Translation, yeah.
Okay. Duryodhana, however, disapproved of the heinous act and he was not pleased in the least.
Right, so Duryodhana was not pleased. I mean, simultaneously was pleased as well as not pleased. But essentially, Duryodhana was not pleased by the way Ashwatthama killed them. Archana.
So he was against the law of the war.
Correct.
So that's why he was not pleased. Okay.
Correct.
Got it.
Okay, very good. Everybody on the same page? Dara.
Prabhuji, but why was he unhappy about this heinous act? Because he has done other heinous acts.
Yeah, you are correct. I mean, Duryodhana was still a warrior. Yes, he has done a lot of incorrect things, but still Duryodhana was a very valiant warrior, to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So therefore he was saying, no, okay, I understand you have killed them. Yes, I wanted them, Pandavas, to be killed, but you have not killed them properly. You just killed them in a sleep. That is not a proper way of fighting war.
Okay. I was just thinking because they killed Abhimanyu.
Yeah, you are correct.
As
You are
well.
correct that the Kauravas did many wrong things.
Yeah.
Including Abhimanyu. So this point about the pleasing of the master and not pleasing will come up in upcoming verse, but basically we have already discussed that point.
Okay, thank you.
Prabhuji, may I ask?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, by saying that that Duryodhan was not happy, aren't we glorifying him? He was such a negative person through.
So we are not necessarily glorifying Duryodhan. We are just trying to glorify, or actually not glorify, but recognize that Duryodhan was still a valiant warrior. Right? He will still fight for whatever fight he has to do. So if you go back to Mahabharata, that when the Pandavas' exile started, and Duryodhana and Karna were trying to just show off their victory in the gamble, and Duryodhana actually got arrested because in his drinking state, he somehow did something wrong to a female wherever they were in the forest, and that the leader of that tribe actually arrested Duryodhana, and the chief commander of Duryodhana, who was there to save Duryodhana, went to Pandavas because they were close by in the forest to ask for help to save Duryodhana. So yes, the Arjuna and Bhima came to the tribe and asked this head to release Duryodhana without fighting. They just said, okay, you just release. And Arjuna and Bhima said, okay, if you want to fight, we are here to fight. But we just request you to release him for various reasons. They gave various reasons. So when Duryodhana found out that his commander went to Pandavas, Duryodhana did not like it. And he actually fought with his commander and actually goes on to kill his commander. So that was a genuine fight. So Duryodhana was a valiant fighter. That's only the point I'm trying to make here. And that's the verses being are trying to explain. Pragya and everybody?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Shivandi?
Why did he kill his commander, Prabhuji?
Because he went to Pandavas, and Pandavas are Duryodhana's enemy. So that actually became a disrespect for Duryodhana. Duryodhana was trying to disrespect Pandavas, but in the end it ended up happening that Duryodhana got disrespected because simply by the talk of Bhima and Arjuna, the leader of that tribe released Duryodhana. And that talk of Bhima and Arjuna with the leader of the tribe happened in front of Duryodhana when Duryodhana was tied down to be punished. So Duryodhana heard all that conversation. So it became a disrespect for Duryodhana. That's why he fought and killed the person who went to get help from Pandavas. Shivandi.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
All right, very good. Very good inquiries from everyone. All right, let's see. Archana, 15 and 16 translation.
Hare Krishna. Text 15. Draupadi, the mother of the 5 children of Pandava, after hearing the massacre of her son, began to cry in distress with eye full of a tear. Trying to pacify her in her great loss, Arjuna spoke to her thus. Text 16. O gentle lady, when I present you with the head of that Brahmana, after beheading him with the arrow from my Gandharva bow, I shall then wipe the tears from your eye and pacify you. Then after burning your son body, you can take your bath standing on his head. So Prabhuji, I have one more question here.
Yeah.
So Arjuna has now whole knowledge about everything. So why then he's calling him a Brahmana? Why not Ashwadhama there?
All right, so he still is a Brahmana. So that's one of the reason of the confusion that will happen in upcoming verses, that okay, Brahmana should not be killed. But well, Ashwatthama is not necessarily a Brahmana because yes, Ashwatthama is born in a Brahmana family, but he's a Brahmana Bandhu because he's not necessarily himself a Brahmana. But he's still a Brahmana, that he is born in a Brahmana family. And Draupadi will go on to explain that the son of your teacher, meaning son of Drona, is representative of the father, means the son is a representative of the father when the father is not there. Therefore, Arjuna is calling him Brahmana.
Okay, Prabhuji.
All right. Priyanka.
Prabhuji, here Arjuna is addressing Draupadi as "Oh gentle lady," but then the response that he gives her, that she can bathe by standing on his head, like that's more like a Kshatriya lady. So how do we understand these two terminologies?
Yeah. So definitely Draupadi is a Kshatrani. If you see some of her actions, Draupadi is no ordinary woman. Draupadi definitely is a Kshatrani, and she is capable of fighting. We actually recall when the Pandavas were in exile in Varnavrat, and the day before the exile was finished, the last day that Draupadi was disrespected by the army chief of Varnavrat, and he was so powerful that only 4 individuals are capable of killing him. So the 4 individuals that were capable of killing this army chief of Varnavrat were Bhima, Arjuna, Karna, and Bhishma Dev. So if they killed, meaning Bhima and Arjuna killed that commander on the last day of their exile, then it would have defeated the whole purpose of the exile, because it will become aware, because it was well known that only 4 individuals were capable of killing this person. So therefore, they did not kill him on that day. So Draupadi came running to the assembly of the king, said that the commander-in-chief disrespected me, do something. And Yudhishthir was also present in the assembly, not as king, but as some disguised servant. And Yudhishthir actually responded to Draupadi, not as the husband of Draupadi, but he just responded in general. He didn't want to disclose. So in the assembly, Draupadi actually chastised Yudhishthir. So Draupadi is definitely a Kshatrani. But simultaneously is also gentle, that we'll soon read in the upcoming verses that how Draupadi is a pure devotee and demonstrates a lot of qualities of a pure devotee. Although Prabhupada also goes on to explain that Draupadi's compassion is misguided. So those, I mean, that both sides are valid, and therefore Arjuna is saying, okay, gentle lady, you are a pure devotee, therefore you are gentle. Simultaneously, you are also Kshatrani, therefore you can do this. Not that Draupadi went on to do what Arjuna is asking her to do. Priyanka?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, very good. So we'll read. Okay, let's see who's next to read. Dhara, 17, 18, 19 translations.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Text 17. Arjun, who is guided by the infallible Lord as friend and driver, thus satisfied the dear lady by such statements. Then he dressed in armor and armed himself with furious weapons, and getting into his chariot, he set out to follow Ashwathama, the son of his martial teacher. Text 18. Ashwathama, the murderer of the princes, seeing from a great distance Arjun coming at him with great speed, fled in his chariot, panic-stricken, just to save his life, as Brahma fled in fear from Shiva. Text 19. When the son of Brahman, Ashwathama, saw that his horses were tied, he considered that there was no alternative for protection outside of his using the ultimate weapon, the Brahmastra nuclear weapon. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so pretty straightforward verses that Arjuna is setting out to capture Ashwathama, but Ashwathama cannot keep up. Therefore, he releases his Brahmastra weapon. Okay. Divya, Pragya has a question.
No, Prabhuji, I just was wondering about this nuclear weapon. So why have they used that? I mean, must be a recent commentary, right? To use it as a nuclear weapon. Brahmastra we know, but from our scriptures, but calling it a nuclear weapon, I don't know.
Nuclear
I was a
weapon
bit
is
confused.
not new. Yes, now of course it is more in use, but it is not a new weapon. It's just widely used now. Plus, of course, the other point you have to understand that Prabhupada has made the scriptures current. So we understand that nuclear weapons are deadly weapons. So that's what Prabhupada is trying to explain with the word nuclear, that, okay, it's a deadly weapon.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Nitya.
Prabhu, to clarify, and this might get answered later, was the Brahmastra released by Ashwatthama more than once?
What's your question? Repeat.
With the release of the Ashwatthama releases the Brahmastra here, and then there is also the story of where he releases when Parikshit Maharaj.
Yeah,
So is
hold
that
on.
all
Yeah.
one time?
Yeah, hey, hold on. That's a discussion I'm going to have with you about how the television programs show incorrectly. So hold your thought. I'll explain as we reach that particular verse.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Archana.
Prabhuji, here the sentence says, as Brahma filled in a fear from Shiva. So the story behind is like, so because of that particular scene, do Brahma fall down because of why Shiva was behind him?
No, so the story about why Brahma was fearful of Shiva is that at the start of creation cycle, Brahmaji is given and he's doing the creation while he first created the Kumaras, they disobey. Then in anger, Shiva appears from in between the eyebrows of Brahmaji, but Shiva's role is to destroy. So Shiva is destroying everything and even attacking Brahmaji because he's just there to destroy everything. So that was the fear, what is being referenced to. And then Brahmaji goes on to tell Shiva, okay, you don't do the destruction right now. Right now is creation time. So this is described in Canto 3, in chapter 12 onwards, where Brahmaji is doing the secondary creation. Canto 3, chapter 12 onwards. So then Brahmaji goes on to tell Shiva, okay, you go and sit and meditate on Lord Vishnu. When destruction will be required, that's when Brahmaji will call Shiva to use his ability. Archana?
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol Prabhu. Yeah. Thank you.
Divya, 2021 translation. So Ashwathama releases his Brahmastra weapon.
Hare Krishna. 20 translation. Since his life was in danger, he touched water in sanctity and concentrated upon the chanting of hymns for throwing nuclear weapons, although he did not know how to withdraw such weapons. 21 translation. Thereupon a glaring light spread in all directions, It was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life was in danger, and so he began to address Lord Shri Krishna.
So pretty straightforward verses that Ashwatthama releases the Brahmastra. So they now from verses 20 to 25, these next 4 verses are the first mini prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Arjuna praises Krishna's qualities. Now, we will only briefly discuss, and these 4 verses are pretty heavy. In my Srimad Bhagavatam class for Mayapur Institute for the Bhakti Vaibhav, I have actually given a 45-minute class on just one verse for this verse number 22. It's a pretty well-known verse. Definitely a verse to memorize also. It's very nicely flowing verse also. But I will only describe these 4 verses in nutshell. If anybody is interested to listen to that class recording, which is about 45 minutes just on one verse. But we will briefly discuss right now. So would you like to recite verse number 22? It's an amazing verse.
Ji Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, very good. So I will first recite verse number 22 in Sanskrit, and then you all can unmute and recite one line after me, please. So 1.7.22. Arjuna Uvacha Krishna Krishna Mahabhavo Bhaktanam Abhayankara Tvam Ekotaya Mananam Apargo Asi Samshriti. Everybody unmute and recite one line after me, please. Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna
Uvacha
Krishna Krishna Mahabhavo
Krishna
Krishna Mahabhavo
Bhaktanam Abhayankara
Bhaktanam Bhayankara
Tvam Ekodaya Mananam
Tam
Yamananam
Apavargo Asi Samshriti.
Apavargo Samshriti.
Very good. You can memorize this verse, although it's not a key memorization verse. It definitely is a key verse. And the first prayer in Bhagavatam, you can try to memorize that. Nitya, translation.
Yes, Prabhu. Arjuna said, "O my Lord Krishna, you're the almighty personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material misery can find the path of liberation in you only."
Yeah, so Arjuna is glorifying Krishna. So we'll first read the remaining verses and we'll discuss it together. Let's see. Shivangi, you can read all 4 if you like, 22 to 25.
Sure, Prabhuji. 22. Arjuna said, O my Lord Sri Krishna, you are the almighty personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, sorry. Text 23. You are the only original personality of Godhead who expands himself all over the creations and is transcendental to material energy. You have cast away the effects of the material energy by dint of your spiritual potency. You are always situated in eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge. Text 24. And yet, though you are beyond the purview of the material energy, you execute the 4 principles of liberation characterized by religion and so on for the ultimate good of the conditioned souls. Text 25. Thus you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you. Hare Krishna.
So visualize what is going on. Step in Arjuna's shoes and understand what are the teachings from these verses that Arjuna is teaching us. So can somebody visualize what is going on? What happened in the previous verses and what is the action that Arjuna is taking? What happened in the previous verses? Priyanka?
Ashwatthama released his Brahmastra and Arjuna immediately started looking towards Krishna and glorifying him.
Very good. Very good. This is very important point that Arjuna is teaching us. So the key point is that Arjuna is a great devotee. And when Arjuna is in danger, because Arjuna knows the capacity of Brahmastra, that you cannot destroy Brahmastra. The only way to destroy Brahmastra is by releasing another Brahmastra. And when Arjuna is in danger, Arjuna is not just asking for his own protection. We'll soon read that Arjuna will actually ask for protection of the entire universe, because the entire universe is burning from the Brahmastra. So we'll in the purports, Prabhupada explains that there is a way to approach Krishna. And this is the lesson for us. What is the way to approach Krishna? All of you have learned except Dhara and Matan Prabhu. You haven't reached that discussion in your Bhagavad Gita classes. Rest, everybody knows how do you approach Krishna? What are the ways to approach Krishna?
Prabhuji, the Mahamantra, simplest way.
Okay. Somebody else? How? What is the way to approach Krishna?
Prabhuji, glorifying him and surrendering to him.
Yeah, very good. Yes, you start by glorifying, offer obeisances, then you can ask for forgiveness or thank you, and then spiritual benediction, then glorify again. So you follow those 4 steps, and that's exactly what Arjuna is doing here. So there is in the purports, Prabhupada explains that there is a way to approach Krishna, and this is the lesson for us. So the question becomes that what is the standard procedure for presenting something before the Lord? The answer is that the standard procedure for presenting anything before the Supreme Personality of Godhead should be done after due presentation of respectful prayers. And then next ask for forgiveness and or say thank you for the darshan. Next ask for spiritual benediction to be engaged in service at his lotus feet. And no, you don't ask for material benediction. Then glorify again by offering obeisances and offer respectful prayer. So these are the 4 steps. So entire Srimad Bhagavatam is basically explaining these 4 steps again and again and again and again and again and again, starting with the first set of prayers here in Canto 1, Chapter 7, verses 22 to 25. Arjuna is teaching us this exact same thing in the first set of prayers to follow these 4 steps. Everybody on the same page with me? I still have a lot of talking to do.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Tara?
So, Prabhuji, the ways to approach is first glorifying and offering obeisances. Next is asking for forgiveness. Then spiritual benediction, and then glorifying again.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct.
Okay, thank you.
So I will just add that step 1 is glorify. You either offer obeisances or glorify, either way.
Okay.
Next step is you can, generally it's asking for forgiveness, but you can also say thank you. Say you got darshan. Okay, say thank you. You haven't done anything wrong. So say thank you.
Yeah.
And this is described in Canto 10. I think it's chapter around 51, Muchukunda pastime, that Muchukunda was sleeping for some 2 million years, and Krishna came to give darshan to him. So Muchukunda has not done anything wrong. So he says thank you. So step number 2, instead of forgiveness, thank you also. And then step number 3, yes, you ask for spiritual benediction, and the point I want to add is no material benedictions.
Okay.
And then you end again by glorifying and offering obeisances and offering respectful prayers. So the entire Srimad Bhagavatam is basically prayers after prayers after prayers after prayers after prayers, explaining these 4 steps. Starting with this first mini prayers also here that Arjuna is doing in Canto 1, Chapter 7, verses 22 to 25. Tara and
Yeah.
everybody?
That's good. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Let's see.
Prabhuji, at our home temple also, for our daily prayers also, this is the way to approach?
You are absolutely correct.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Pragya can read 26 translation and purport.
Prabhuji. Verse 27. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Know from
26.
me."
26.
Sorry, Prabhuji. Verse 26. O Lord of Lords, how is this that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Where does it come from? I do not understand it. Purport. Anything that is presented before the personality of Godhead should be done after due presentation of respectful prayers. That is the standard procedure, and Sri Arjuna, although an intimate friend of the Lord, is observing this method for general information. Hare Krishna.
Okay, very good. So we just discussed all of this that Arjuna is teaching us. So first Arjuna speaks the prayers, 22 to 25. He's glorifying the Lord. And he says in verse number 22, he says, Tvam eko hi daya manana. If you recall Bhagavad Gita 18.66. What is 18.66? All of you should know. Who wants to recite? Somebody?
I can, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Sarvadharmana parijatya ramikam saranam bhava aham tam sarva papesu mokshasami masukam.
Right, in 18.66, what Arjuna is, or what Krishna is teaching us, that only Krishna can save. And that's exactly what Arjuna is saying in 1.7.22. The third line says, Tvam eko, only you can protect. And that's exactly what Arjuna is demonstrating. That you are bhaktanam abhayankara, that you will destroy the fear of devotees. Tvam eko hi dayamananam. And then apavargo means the suffering in the material. Apavargo asi samshrati, material miseries. Nitya?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, in our home temple, after offering prayers, glorifying the Lord, we can then ask solution of our material predicaments and miseries. That would be okay.
Sorry, your voice is very soft. What are you asking after offering prayers? What did you say?
After glorifying, finishing our prayer at the home temple, then we can ask guidance about our material predicaments, material mysteries. That would be okay.
You don't have to ask for material miseries or material things at all. I mean, it's a discussion in Canto, should be in Canto 3 someplace, that you can ask for material benedictions as long as you are using it for Krishna's service. Then it's okay to ask. Otherwise, you just glorify and leave it to Krishna. Understand that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He already knows everything. You don't have to ask for it.
Prabhu, seeking guidance, not the asking that materially meant like ask for material things, but guidance, because yes, God knows our predicaments, He's aware of everything, but in a way that we are saying that, we're lost, guide us, is that okay?
Yeah, guidance is okay. You are asking for some spiritual knowledge. Yeah, guide us. Guide us, you can ask for sure. Yeah, Vijay Prabhu correctly says that Krishna is Krishna. Doesn't matter where he is located, either at a temple or your home temple or in your heart. Krishna is Krishna. Very good. Thank you, Vijay Prabhu. Archana.
Prabhuji, glorifying means at home temple is like saying Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Yeah, particular.
You can glorify anyway. You can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You can say, please accept our obeisances. You can say, oh, you look very effulgent today. I'll tell you from at my home temple, sometimes, not always, sometimes there's an effulgence coming out. I don't see it every day. Sometimes effulgence is very visible. I mean, effulgence is always there, but sometimes it's very prominent. So you can just say, oh, today you are very effulgent. You can glorify whichever way works for you.
Okay, Haribol, Haribol.
All right. So next few verses discussion is about Brahmastra. Chandran Prabhu, 27 to 32 translations.
Hare Krishna. Text 27. The Supreme Personality of God had said, know from me that this is the act of the son of Drona. He has thrown the hands of nuclear energy, Brahmastra, and he does not know how to retract the glare. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death. Text 28. O Arjuna, only another Brahmastra can counteract this weapon. Since you are expert in the military science, subdue this weapon's glare with the power of your own weapon. Text 29. Sri Sutta Goswami said, hearing this from the personality of Godhead, Arjuna touched water for purification, and after circumambulating Lord Sri Krishna, he cast his Brahmastra weapon to counteract the other one. Text 30. When the rays of the two Brahmastras combined, a great circle of fire, like the disk of the sun, covered all outer space and the whole firmament of planets. Text 31. All the population of the three worlds was scorched by the combined heat of the weapons. Everyone was reminded of the Samvartaka fire, which takes place at the time of annihilation. Text 32. Thus, seeing the disturbance of the general populace and the imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both Brahmastra weapons as Lord Sri Krishna desired. Text 33.
32 purport, Prabhu.
32 purport. The theory that the modern atomic bomb explosions can annihilate the world is a childish imagination. First of all, the atomic energy is not powerful enough to destroy the world. And secondly, ultimately it all rests on the supreme will of the Supreme Lord, because without his will or sanction, nothing can be built up or destroyed. It is foolish also to think that natural laws are ultimately powerful. Material nature's laws works under the direction of the Lord, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says there that natural laws work under his supervision. The world can be destroyed only by the will of the Lord and not by the whims of tiny politicians. Lord Sri Krishna desired that the weapons released by both Drauni and Arjuna be withdrawn, and it was carried out by Arjuna at once. Similarly, there are many agents of the all-powerful Lord, and by his will only can one execute what he desires. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada makes a very important point that all this atomic bombs and trying to destroy is all childish versus childish. That it is not possible. Everything rests upon the will of the Lord. Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations? Priyanka?
Prabhuji, in verse 27, it is said that he released a Brahmastra due to fear of imminent death, but the Brahmastra would have killed him also. So, how do we understand this?
The fear is that he would have been captured by Krishna and Arjuna. That was his fear.
Okay.
I
So
didn't
dying.
understand your question, the second part. So Brahmastra weapon is
Mhm.
very specific, that you direct the Brahmastra, okay, go and kill so and so. The Brahmastra weapon will go and kill that particular individual. It's
But
very
the heat would still destroy the world.
yeah. So that is when these two Brahmastra collided,
Okay.
right? So what Nitya asked earlier, I want to point out that some of you might have seen the television Mahabharat TV program, the original one. I mean, there are so many different versions. The original one, which in India B.R. Chopra created. Now, this particular incident is wrongly shown in the television program. For those of you who might have seen or remember, the television program shows, because the television programs, they spice up things. So they take an event. Okay, the event is correct that Ashwatthama released the Brahmastra, and then the television program spice these things up. So what the television program in the Mahabharat TV program of B.R. Chopra, it shows that when Ashwatthama released the Brahmastra and when Arjuna released the Brahmastra, at that time, Srila Vyasadev came in between the two Brahmastra and stopped the two Brahmastra from colliding. And Srila Vyasadev says in the TV program, Srila Vyasadev is shown to say that if you allow these two Brahmastra to collide, then the entire universe will get destroyed. Therefore, retract your individual Brahmastras. So Arjuna, in the television, it's shown that Arjuna retracts his Brahmastra, but Ashwatthama doesn't know how to retract. We read in the verses before this. And therefore, Srila Vyasadev then tells Ashwatthama, okay, redirect your Brahmastra to, say, a tree or something, so that the Brahmastra only goes and destroys a tree. But Ashwatthama, in the television program, is shown that Ashwatthama then redirects the Brahmastra to Parikshit Maharaj in the womb of Uttara. But that's not actually what happened. What actually happened is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, what we are reading, is that Arjuna retracted both Brahmastra. And then later on, after punishing Ashwatthama, Ashwatthama released the Brahmastra again to go and destroy Parikshit Maharaj. Nitya, you were the one asked that question, I think, and everybody on the same page?
Thank you, Prabhu, for the clarification.
Yeah, therefore, I have asked from day one, from Bhagavad Gita class day one, I have asked everyone, stop watching all these television programs. Like, it looks like you are watching something authentic, but it's then spiced up for their money-making endeavors. Okay, Abhishek Prabhu.
What is the meaning that he could not retract it?
He just did not know how to retract. So these Brahmastras are by mantras. So you chant a mantra, the Brahmastra will appear, and you by chanting the mantra, you direct the Brahmastra to a particular target, and then there is a mantra to retract. So Ashwatthama just did not know that mantra to retract the Brahmastra.
And I'm not sure if this discussion comes, but when the second time he releases Brahmastra, that time Arjuna doesn't counteract it. That time Krishna personally counteracts it.
Yeah, so it's an upcoming discussion as to why Krishna does that. You are correct that at that time Arjuna does not counter, but Krishna intervenes, and the reason will come up in our discussion today in upcoming verses. So hold your thought.
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, Pragya, go ahead.
Prabhuji, we read that Arjun was very scared when he saw that Brahmastra, and therefore he began to address Lord Krishna. But he always knew that he could counter that Brahmastra because he's learned that. Then why was he afraid, and why was he afraid to counter that Brahmastra with his own?
Yeah,
I understand.
Arjuna knows the capacity of Brahmastra. What we just read in the verses, that when Arjuna's Brahmastra and Ashwatthama's Brahmastra were about to collide, the the burning energy went all the way to the firmament of the universe. That is very far away. It is beyond our calculation as to how far the firmament of the universe is, right? So the energy was way too strong, which Arjuna knows that the only way to counter a Brahmastra is another Brahmastra, and those two will, when they collide, will cause such a large inferno that it will destroy. So that's why Arjuna knows, and Arjuna was fearing the destruction, and therefore he was praised to Krishna. And visualize that what Arjuna is teaching, what we discussed, that even though Arjuna knows he's fearful and all that, he first is praying to Krishna. He says, Krishna, Krishna, Mahabhao, Bhaktanam Abhayankara, Tvam Eko Hi Dayamananam, Parvargo Asi Samshati. He first prays. That's the way to approach the Lord. And then, upon Krishna's instruction, he releases. So this is also the confidence of a pure devotee on that they have on Krishna. Arjuna knows the capacity of Brahmastra. He first prays and he waits for Krishna to give him instruction. Okay, Arjuna, go and retract both Brahmastra. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, that original Brahmastra was directed to a particular place, like you said,
To
it was
Arjuna.
directed to.
Yeah, original was sent
to Arjuna. It was. But the countering that is creating this heat which could have destroyed many others. So countering it was safe for everybody, or is it safe only for Arjun?
It was safe for everybody, but it of course will create a heat where some will die out of heat also. But of course it will not cause the mass destruction if Brahmastra was released and went on to destroy everything.
Okay, Prabhuji. So in protection of his life, was he ready to sacrifice others? No, he was not like that.
He was not like that, but Krishna gives him the order, right? That, okay, go and retract, like the counter, the only counter for Brahmastra is another Brahmastra, and then Krishna says, okay, retract, because of the heat, everyone will have some misery, or there'll be at least some destruction.
Okay, maybe so, Prabhuji, but is it that Arjun knew that this is going to cause destruction of a different kind? That is why he was seeking Krishna's permission before he uses that? So
pure devotees will seek permission from Krishna always, not just
okay,
time, right? That's the learning we have.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, so the next from this point on is the heavy discussion in terms of the spiritual endeavor that you got, and you all did very nicely. So from verse number 33 till end of chapter 7 is the discussion on whether or not to kill Ashwatthama. So let's read it faster pace now, otherwise we will not be able to complete. Let's see. So as we read through these verses, divide your page in two halves. Together with the verse number, on one side, you can write the reasons to kill Ashwatthama. And on the other side, you can write reasons to not kill Ashwatthama. Okay, let's read it at a faster pace now. Malti, 33, 34 translations.
Hare Krishna, text 33. Arjuna, his eyes blazing in anger like two red balls of copper, mysteriously arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with the ropes like an animal. Text 34. After binding Ashwatthama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, looking on his lotus eyes, spoken to Arjuna in an angry mood. Hare Krishna.
34 purport, fast pace.
44 purport. Both Arjuna and Lord Krishna are described here in an angry mood, but Arjuna's eyes were like a balls of red copper, whereas the eyes of Lord were like lotuses. This means that the angry mood of Arjuna and that of Lord are not on the same level. The Lord is transcendence, and thus he is absolute in any stage. His anger is not like the anger of a conditioned living being within the modes of qualities material nature, because he is absolute. Both his anger and pleasure like the same. His anger is not exhibit in the three modes of material nature. It is only a sign of his bent of mind toward the cause of devotees, because that is his transcendental nature. Therefore, even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed. He is unchanged in all circumstances.
Yeah,
Hare
very
Krishna.
good. Yeah, very good point that Krishna's pleasure as well as Krishna's anger are at the same level because Krishna is absolute. So Krishna is addressed in the verse as Ambuja Ikshana, the eyes compared to lotus flower. So even though Krishna is angry, but his eyes were not red, versus Arjuna was at the material level. I mean, shown at a material level. He's a pure devotee. It was shown that okay, at material level, your eyes turn red when you are angry. Okay, so what was Arjuna's promise to Draupadi at the few verses when we read when they found out that the children were killed? What did Arjuna promise?
That he will kill Ashwatthama and bring his head.
Right, and what did he do here?
He tied him and took him.
Yeah, why? We'll understand that how come Arjuna, instead of killing Ashwatthama, how come he bound Ashwatthama and brought it? Do you think Arjuna is not capable of killing Ashwatthama? So we'll understand why Arjuna does not kill Ashwatthama, but binds him and brings it in the assembly. We'll understand that very, very soon. And it's a very important learning for all of us as well. Okay, let's read. Vimal Prabhu, quickly, 35 translation. So 35 is the reason to kill Ashwatthama.
Lord Krishna said, O Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of Brahmana, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep.
So relative of Brahmana is referred to as Brahmana Bandhu. That okay, you are born in a Brahmana family, but you yourself are not keeping up to the standards of Brahmana. Therefore, you are categorized in a special category to identify that, okay, you are born in Brahmana, but you are yourself not Brahmana. Therefore, you are Brahmana Bandhu. In the purport for verse 35, Prabhupada describes this same point about Brahmana Bandhu. That what I just described, that he is just a relative of Brahmana, but he is not able to maintain the standards of Brahmana. Therefore, he is called as Brahmana Bandhu. Okay, Mayank Prabhu, 36, 37 translations quickly.
Hare Krishna. A person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. It's 37. A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he'll go down by his own actions.
In 37 purport, Mayank Prabhu, read in the middle of the purport, there is one line in italics. It says, he who gives permission, he who kills the animal.
He who gives permission, he who kills the animal, he who sells the slaughtered animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administers distribution of the foodstuff, and at last he who eats such cooked animal food are all murderers, and all of them are liable to be punished by the laws of nature.
Okay, very good. So our dear Vijay Prabhu is present here among us right now. And Vijay Prabhu follows this principle very nicely. So Vijay Prabhu drives a truck where he has to deliver items from point A to point B. So at his workplace, Vijay Prabhu has given instruction to his office that he will not deliver meat-related items. And his office is also understandable that they have other drivers. So Vijay Prabhu delivers other things, but meat-related items he does not deliver. Why? Because clearly says in 1.7.37 that he who gives permission, he who kills animal, he who sells slaughtered animal, he who cooks, he who administers distribution of such killed animal, he who eats cooked animal, all are murderers, and they are all liable to be punished by laws of nature. So all this mass shooting that goes on, and people say, oh, guns are the problem. But no, the real problem is the slaughtering of animals. So what has happened is you will realize that a mass shooter is killing about few individuals. Basically, what has happened is in the previous life, that mass shooter was an animal, and all these people who the shooter is killing in this life were in this category. They were where they gave permission, they killed the animal, or they sold the slaughtered animal, or cooked the animal, or administered the distributor of that animal, or ate that cooked animal. So they were all on the other side in the previous life, and the animal has the karmic credit to kill these people because they killed him in his previous life. And this mass shooter does not have association of a pure devotee. Therefore, he is exercising his right to kill. If, of course, he meets a pure devotee, then he will forgive and he will stop his cycle of birth and death. But otherwise, he's just continuing. Questions, comments, realizations? All right. Matan Prabhu, 38, 39 translations.
Hare Krishna, verse 38. Furthermore, I have personally heard you promise Draupadi that you would bring forth the head of the killer of her sons. 39. This man is an assassin and murderer of your own family members. Not only that, but he has also dissatisfied his master. He is but the burnt remnants of his family. Kill him immediately.
Okay. So Matan Prabhu will continue to read. I will point out. So far we have read the verses to kill Ashwatthama. And then the reasons next set of verses will come to not kill Ashwatthama. But verse number 51, so we will skip some verses and read in a different order. Verse number 51, Bhima is also saying to kill. So Matan Prabhu, read 51.
Verse 51. Bhima, however, angrily disagreed with them and recommended killing this culprit, who had murdered sleeping children for no purpose and for neither his nor his master's interest.
Okay. So Bhima said about not his master's interest. So we discussed earlier this discussion about Duryodhana not being happy. All right. So all these were verses to kill Ashwatthama. Now let's look at the list of arguments for killing Ashwatthama. So verse number 16, Arjuna promised to behead the aggressor Ashwatthama. And Krishna said, so Krishna is putting these arguments in favor of killing Ashwatthama. In verse 35, says, he killed innocent boys in their sleep. Verse 36 says, the ruling is that aggressor, when he is without a weapon or chariot, should be killed. Verse 37 says, a cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down by his own actions. 39 says he is an assassin and murderer of your own family. And 51, Bhima says Ashwatthama should be killed. So these are all the reasons to kill Ashwatthama. Of course, Krishna is giving so many reasons. We'll soon see what Krishna is doing and causing confusions very soon. So now let's look at the verses for arguments to not kill Ashwatthama. So Draupadi gives religious principles. Okay, I think everybody has read. Did everybody read? I think everybody read. Okay. So we'll go back to from start again. Abhishek Prabhu, 41, 42, 43 translations. So now on your page, on the other side, you can write reasons to not kill Ashwatthama. Continue.
Hare Krishna. 41. After reaching his own camp, Arjuna, along with his dear friend and charioteer Sri Krishna, entrusted the murder onto his dear wife, who was lamenting for her murdered sons. 42. Sri Suta Goswami said, Draupadi then saw Ashwatthama, who was bound with ropes like an animal and silent for having enacted the most inglorious murder. Due to her female nature and due to her being naturally good and well behaved, she showed him due respect as a Brahmana. 43. She could not tolerate Ashwatthama being bound by ropes, and being a devoted lady, she said, Release him, for he is a Brahmana, our spiritual master.
Okay. So Brahmana is always a guru. And Arjuna, Draupadi says, you have received the mantras, the martial art teachings from a Brahmana. This is religious principle. Therefore, she is saying to release Ashwatthama. Okay. Vimal Prabhu, 44, 45.
It was by Dronacharya mercy that you learned the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons. 45. He, Dronacharya, is certainly still existing, being represented by his son. His wife Kripi did not undergo sati with him because she had a son.
Okay, so Draupadi is giving arguments to not kill. That first she says in 44, if someone gives you something, you don't do in an erratic manner by ignoring his contribution. Draupadi says, Arjuna, you became famous archer because of Ashwatthama's father. If person occasionally mistreats you, you should not go against this person. This is injustice. And therefore, Draupadi is giving this nyaya or justice argument. So Draupadi is full of mercy. Is another argument, mercy, karuna in 1.7.45, that even though Drona is dead, but Dronacharya is alive through his son. Ashwatthama is representing his father Dronacharya. Therefore, killing Ashwatthama is like killing Dronacharya. Okay, Vijay Prabhu, I forgot you did not read. 46, 47 translations.
Haribol, Prabhu, 1 minute. Okay, please. 46, okay. Haribol. O most fortunate one who knows the principles of religion, it is not good for you to cause the grief of glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipful. Number 47. My Lord, do not make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me. I am aggrieved for the death of my sons. She need not cry constantly like me. And 48.
Hold on. So,
okay.
So Draupadi says, your guru's family is always respectable, always worshipable. And therefore, she says Saman as the reason that Draupadi is equating her situation with Kripi. Kripi is the wife of Dronacharya, means the mother of Ashwatthama. That Draupadi cannot see creepy cry like how Draupadi is crying. Normally, when someone punishes me, I want to let that person suffer more than me. But Draupadi is not an ordinary lady. Draupadi is a pure devotee, and these are the actions of pure devotee. Means devotee can tolerate all sorts of personal turbulence, but devotee cannot tolerate miseries of others. These are the characteristics of a pure devotee. Plus, understand what Draupadi is teaching us. The Draupadi teaches her husbands with glorious statements from scriptures rather than shouting. So in the material world, say sometimes one spouse will try to make an argument with the other spouse. They are kind of shouting and fighting. But what is Draupadi teaching us? She is not shouting at all. She is just giving scriptural references to teach the husbands. Okay, here are my scriptural references to not kill Ashwatthama. And Draupadi is speaking from scriptural perspective. This is a very important learning. You all understand there are so many learnings in this one chapter. Okay, Vijay Prabhu, continue. 48, 49, and 50 translations. Archana, I'll come to you in a minute.
Prabhuji, here
Translation.
Hold on, Archana,
Sorry.
will come to you in a minute. Vijay Prabhu, go ahead.
Prabhuji, here the
48.
statement is given, the principle of religion. So what principle she's talking about? It's like the Brahmana
Yeah,
is...
I'll summarize in a minute. I'll summarize all that.
Haribol.
Vijay Prabhu, 48, 49, 50.
But sure. If the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense control, offends the Brahman order and enrages them, then the fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon all. Number 49. Sudha Goswami said, O Brahmans, the king Yudhishthir fully supported the statements of the queen, which were in accordance with the principle of religion and were justified, glorious and full of mercy and equity and without duplicity. Wow. And text 50. Nakula, Sadev, the younger brothers of the king, and also Satyaki, Arjuna, the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna as the son of Devaki, and the ladies and others all unanimously agreed with the king.
Let's look at the list of arguments for killing Ashwatthama that Draupadi is stating, which Archana just asked about the religious principles. So in 43, she gives principles of religion. In 44, she gives justice as the reason. In 45, she gives mercy as the reason. In 46, she says without duplicity in dharma. In 47, she shows equity. In 48, she is making these glorious statements from scriptures. And in 49, King Yudhishthir supported Draupadi to not kill Ashwatthama. And then in 50, Nakula, Sadev, and Satyaki and few others also agreed to not kill Ashwatthama. So on a piece of paper or wherever you are taking notes, you have these both sides, that there are reasons to kill Ashwatthama, that Krishna himself is giving the reasons. And then Draupadi is giving scriptural references. So scripture is also Krishna. The Bhagavatam's references that Draupadi is giving is Krishna himself. And the arguments are from scriptures to not kill Ashwatthama. So question for all of you, how do you decide whether or not to kill Ashwatthama? Because they are both coming from scriptures. I mean, it's Krishna speaking. Krishna is himself Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the scriptures are coming from Krishna. So how do you decide? Krishna has stated to kill Ashwatthama. And others have stated to not kill Ashwatthama from scriptural reference. Okay, Shivangi, rest of you will also answer.
Prabhuji, sorry, I just have a question. So even if they had decided to forgive Ashwatthama for what he did, does that mean he would not, like the sin is cancelled? Like whatever action he did, it's the sinful reaction is cancelled and like it's okay?
Just by forgiveness on itself, it doesn't cancel the sinful reactions. You have to do something about it.
So he would have to do some kind of like prayashchitta or?
Correct. You are correct. Yeah. Just by somebody has forgiven you does not mean that the other person's sin are washed away. So we have discussed, and some of you have also had this offline conversations with me that, okay, somebody has done wrong to me. What do? I said, okay, you forgive. But forgiveness does not mean you start trusting the other person. So forgiveness, yes, it is for you to forgive, to develop the quality of forgiveness, a divine quality. But just because you have forgiven somebody who has done wrong to you does not mean you start trusting the other person. So forgiveness is for you to give, but trust is for the other person to build back. Shivangi?
Okay, so in this case, like killing him means it's showing him mercy because he would not have to suffer.
Yeah, so we read in one of the verses that where Krishna says, kill him, which is better for him, otherwise he will go downhill.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So my question to all of you, how do you decide to kill or not kill? And I'll add a couple more wrinkles in this question. Somebody? Are you able to decide or not decide? Quickly. Not able to decide? Is that unanimous?
Not able to decide, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Not able to decide, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, not able to decide, but out of the two, forgiveness is the higher path to take.
Yeah, not necessarily.
No.
Prabhupada goes on to explain in the purport that Draupadi's this compassion is misguided. Prabhupada actually goes in the purport to say that Ashwatthama should be punished. So you'll read the purports. In essence of time, we are not reading right now, but you read the purports where Prabhupada actually criticizes Draupadi's compassion as being misguided. That Ashwatthama has done something wrong, he should be punished. So punished. Killing, I'm not saying. Prabhupada doesn't say killing.
Okay.
Prabhupada says punished. Dhara?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. And sorry.
Dhara, go ahead.
Yeah, another question was if they decided to kill Ashwatthama, then they're not ending the cycle here. Then do they?
So Ashwatthama, if Ashwatthama was killed, he would have been killed in the presence of Krishna by a pure devotee of Krishna. He would have received liberation.
Okay.
So this is described in later part of Canto. Yeah, should be in Canto 1. It described that when Arjuna in the Kurukshetra war, when Arjuna killed the warriors of the other side, these warriors had enmity against Krishna. But when they were pierced by the arrows of Arjuna, in that split second before leaving the body, these people on the other side of Pandavas, these warriors got purified and they regained their love for Krishna. Why? Because the arrows of Arjuna carry the potency of pure devotee, meaning that they carry the potency of Krishna. And by the touch of Arjuna's arrows, they got purified. Their love for Krishna got aroused in that split second, and they all attained spiritual worlds according to their respective rasas.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Shivangi?
Oh, I was just going to say, Prabhuji, you should just follow what Krishna said to do.
Okay, yeah. So Is scriptures not what Krishna is saying?
Seems like he changed his mind because he
So
agreed
Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. How can he change his mind? No, he doesn't change his mind.
he agreed with King Yudhishthir in the second part of the chapter.
So so Shivangi, read again all those verses and purports. Krishna did not change his mind. There's an important point being that Krishna is doing here, which I'll discuss in next couple of minutes. That what Krishna is saying in the verses is also Krishna saying, and what Draupadi is pointing out from scriptures is also Krishna saying, because scriptures are Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna. Shivangi.
Okay, then can you just clarify and ask
I will.
what he wants you to do?
Very good. Shivangi is getting anxious now.
No, I mean, you can just ask, right? If you don't know, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, very good. Very good. I will answer. Very good. So understand this chapter should stick in your head. There are so many learnings from this chapter. Okay, very good. Pragya?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I was thinking that Krishna, Bhagwan and Draupadi were both giving Arjun instructions to show us that how a pure devotee and rationalizes those, and they were kind of trying to test a pure devotee that even if they are trying to tell him something wrong, he will not do it.
Yeah, very good. You are absolutely correct, Pragya, that what Arjuna does with these arguments, how Arjuna rationalizes, is the crux of the reason why Krishna is creating this confusion. So we already have so much confusion. I also gave you another wrinkle a few minutes ago, and I'll repeat that how come Arjuna did not kill Ashwathama, even though he promised Draupadi that he will kill Ashwathama and bring his head. Instead, Arjuna captured Ashwathama and brought him in front of everyone. How come? And I will add another wrinkle. We'll read the verses, and there's one more wrinkle in this conversation here. Okay, let's read. Divya, 53, 54 translation is another wrinkle.
Hare Krishna. 53, 54. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna said, a friend of a Brahmana is not to be killed, but if he is an aggressor, he must be killed. All these rulings are in the scriptures, and you should act accordingly. You have to fulfill your promise to your wife, and you must also act to the satisfaction of Bhimasena and me.
Yeah, Krishna is creating even more confusion here. This 53, 54 verse, Krishna himself is speaking. Krishna is causing so much confusion. Krishna is saying that Brahmana Bandhu should not be killed, but if he is aggressor, he should be killed. So Krishna says, these are the principles in my scriptures. Krishna said, Arjuna, you should fulfill your promise that you made to Draupadi to kill Ashwathama. And Krishna says, Arjuna, you should also satisfy Bhima, as well as Arjuna, you should also satisfy me, Krishna. And Krishna is also saying, I have also given you Shastra, that you should also follow scriptures. So there's so much confusion. And Krishna is the one creating the confusion. So I gave you this spiritual endeavor, that who is creating the confusion? Krishna is creating the confusion. And why Krishna is creating the confusion is the crux of our discussion coming up in next minute or so that Shivangi was very anxious to hear about. Okay, let's see. Who wants to read verse 54 purport? Faster pace. Divya, you can continue. Faster pace.
Hare Krishna. 54 purport. Arjuna was perplexed because Ashwatthama was to be killed as well as spared according to different scriptures cited by different persons. As a Brahma Bandhu, or a worthless son of a Brahmana, Ashwatthama was not to be killed, but he was at the same time an aggressor also. And according to the rulings of Manu, an aggressor even though he is a Brahmana, and what to speak of an unworthy son of a Brahmana, is to be killed. Dronacharya was certainly a Brahmana in the true sense of the term, but because he stood in the battlefield, he was killed. But although Ashwatthama was an aggressor, he stood without any fighting weapons. The ruling is that an aggressor, when he is without weapon or chariot, cannot be killed. All these were certainly perplexities. Besides that, Arjuna had to keep the promise he had made before Draupadi just to pacify her. And he also had to satisfy both Bhima and Krishna, who advised killing him. This dilemma was present before Arjuna, and the solution was averted by Krishna.
All this confusion was created for a very special reason. So the question is, what is the principle behind Krishna outwardly wanting Arjuna to kill Ashwatthama? So what is the learning for all of us from this chapter? There are so many learnings. We will go back and read one very important verse that we skipped reading earlier. Pragya, verse number 40 translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sutta Goswami said, although Krishna, who was examining Arjun in religion, encouraged Arjun to kill the son of Dronacharya, Arjun, a great soul, did not like the idea of killing him, although Ashwatthama was a heinous murder of Arjun's family members. Hare Krishna.
So here's the answer that Shivangi was so anxious to hear. That Krishna is testing Arjuna's loyalty to following religious principles. In this process of creating this confusion, Krishna is glorifying his pure devotees. That pure devotees of Krishna are always stable. In 1.7.40, Lord Shri Krishna encouraged Arjuna outwardly to kill Ashwatthama just to test Arjuna's sense of duty. Lord Krishna put to test his pure devotees just to magnify their sense of duty, meaning the sense of duty by the pure devotees. So all pure devotees, including Arjuna, come out successful in their respective tests by the Lord. Therefore, by his sharp intelligence, Arjuna selected a compromise. Without his sword, Arjuna severed both Ashwatthama's hair and the jewel from Ashwatthama's head. This was as good as cutting off Ashwatthama's head, and still Ashwatthama's life was spared. Now, earlier question, the earlier wrinkle I added, that how come Arjuna did not kill Ashwatthama at the very first instance when Arjuna, instead of killing, captured Ashwatthama and bound him with his ropes? The reason is Arjuna already knew all these religious principles, that there is a confusion. There isn't a clear-cut answer, that there are reasons to kill Ashwatthama and there are reasons to not kill Ashwatthama, which we anyway listed a few minutes ago as part of our discussion today. And by not killing Ashwatthama at the first instance and by arresting Ashwatthama, what Arjuna did is, what Arjuna is teaching us is, Arjuna is buying time to deliberate on these various principles. And Lord Shri Krishna is glorifying his pure devotees. Therefore, I said at the start of our discussion today that the crux of our discussion in this Canto 1, Chapter 7 from verse 12 onwards is Krishna glorifies the sense of duty of his pure devotees, and that's what Arjuna did. So let's go back to verse number 40 again. We'll read verse 40, translation and purport again. Pragya?
Hare
Master,
Krishna
please.
Prabhuji. Sutta Goswami said, although Krishna, who was examining Arjun in religion, encouraged Arjun to kill son of Dronacharya, Arjun, a great soul, did not like the idea of killing him, although Ashwathama was a heinous murderer of Arjun's family members. Purport. Arjun was a great soul, undoubtedly, which is proved here also. He is encouraged herein personally by the Lord to kill the son of Drona. But Arjun decides that the son of his great teacher should be spared, for he happens to be son of Dronacharya, even though he is an unworthy son, having done all sorts of heinous acts whimsically for no one's benefit. And Lord Shri Krishna encouraged Arjun outwardly just to test Arjun's sense of duty. It's not that Arjun was incomplete in sense of his duty, nor was Lord Shri Krishna unaware of Arjun's sense of duty. But Lord Krishna put to test many of his pure devotees just to magnify the sense of duty. The gopis were put to such tests as well. Prahlad Maharaj was also put to such a test. All pure devotees come out successfully in respective tests by the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Okay, everybody on the same page. Shivangi, you got the answer. Everybody got the answers as to what all was going on, why Krishna created all these wrinkles. Shivangi?
Yes, thank you.
Prabhuji, if pure devotees are to be tested, where do we stand? I was just wondering. We are far from being anything.
You can judge by yourself.
So we can't be just in our decisions that we take.
So we have to learn. So Krishna uses his pure devotees because he knows that the pure devotees have the sense of duty. So he's teaching us. Arjuna has taught us so many things, not that Arjuna. In this chapter, there are so many learning that Arjuna teaches us that buy time, don't just react. Draupadi also teaches us that so many religious principles that don't argue with your spouse, give them scriptural references. Krishna also teaches so many things, and Krishna goes on to glorify his pure devotee. So these are all learnings for us. We have discussed that at the start, that how do you relish Srimad Bhagavatam is by applying what you can apply from each chapter. This chapter has so many learnings. Pragya?
When as a homework you had given us the endeavor to read this chapter, and when we read it, we thought, okay, it's such a straightforward chapter, but you've made it so interesting, Prabhuji, and you've really unbundled so many things that were so precious in this treasure box. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
All glories are always for Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you all hearing with rapt attention as well as also doing the spiritual endeavor so that you could get so much benefit. Okay, very good. Abhishek Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. In verse 16, when Arjuna promises Draupadi initially that he will bring the head of Ashwadhama, so that time also the same principles apply, but at that time this confusion doesn't seem to be there in Arjuna's mind.
Yeah, you are correct that, okay, Arjuna says, okay, I will punish him. That time, yes, he says, but then Arjuna realizes, wait a minute, he's a Brahmana Bandhu. He's son of my teacher. There are religious principles to not kill him, and there are religious principles to kill him. And therefore, instead of killing him, killing Ashwatthama, Arjuna binds Ashwatthama. So he's teaching us that, yes, don't just react in material world. First think and then act.
So in that, sorry, please continue. In that sense, like even if he has said something earlier, but he realizes that it was a mistake, then it is okay to not follow the promise.
It is okay. So as long as you don't act, so you can say, you can think, thoughts will come. As long as you don't act, then you are okay. And Vijay Prabhu had an offline discussion with me about Dronacharya. So we read in one of the verse in the purport that Dronacharya is a Brahmana. Yes, he was on the wrong side of the battle, therefore he got killed. But Dronacharya was a Brahmana. Vijay Prabhu, we read in one of the purports.
Which sloka, Prabhu, I forget?
I don't remember the verse, but we read a few minutes ago in one of the purports. It was there. Just a few minutes ago we read. All right.
Was it?
So we'll come to reading the solution, that how Arjuna resolved this with a compromise. So he saw all these pros and cons and both sides of the arguments. Now Arjuna resolves this with a compromise. Priyanka, 55 to 57 translations, faster pace.
Hare Krishna. Suta Goswami said, just then Arjuna could understand the motive of the Lord by his equivocal orders, and thus with his sword he severed both hair and jewel from the head of Ashwatthama.
Read all
50
purports also, 55 or 50 to 57, all purports also.
Okay. 55 purport. Contradictory orders of different persons are impossible to carry out. Therefore, a compromise was selected by Arjuna by his sharp intelligence, and he separated the jewel from the head of Ashwatthama. This was as good as cutting off his head, and yet his life was saved for all practical purposes. Here, Ashwatthama is indicated as twice born. Certainly, he was twice born, but he fell down from his position, and therefore he was properly punished. 56. He, Ashwatthama, had already lost his bodily luster due to infanticide, and now, moreover, having lost the jewel from his head, he lost even more strength. Thus, he was unbound and driven out of the camp. Purport. Thus being insulted, the humiliated Ashwatthama was simultaneously killed and not killed by the intelligence of Lord Krishna and Arjuna. 57. Cutting the hair from his head, depriving him of his wealth, and driving him from his residence are the prescribed punishments for the relative of a Brahmana. Therefore, there is no injunction for killing the body. 58. Thereafter, the son. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we discussed this whole cycle of reasons for killing Ashwatthama and not killing Ashwatthama, and Krishna causing all this confusion. We skipped one very important verse, and this is the last verse we'll read today. It's a very important verse as to why Krishna was causing all this confusion. Shivangi, you want to read the louder pace and with a dramatic way, 52.
Text 52. Chaturpuja, the four-armed one, or the personality of Godhead, after hearing the words of Bhima, Draupadi, and others, saw the face of his dear friend Arjuna, and he began to speak as if smiling.
Smiling. So Krishna's smile is bewildering. And Krishna was doing all this confusion with this smiling. And whenever Krishna is smiling, that means Krishna has a plan. And therefore he was smiling and doing all this confusion. I'm pretty sure all of you have been bewildered by Krishna at some point of time. So in this next chapter 8, we'll discuss various qualities of Krishna, and this bewildering others is one of his quality, means one of Krishna's quality. Therefore, it is not easy to understand Krishna, and therefore non-devotees misunderstand Krishna. Thus we have completed this chapter 7. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of first canto, 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Son of Drona Punished. We have about 5 more minutes. Any questions, comments, realizations? Nitya?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So as we conclude with text 57, it states that these are the punishments for the relative of a Brahmana. So it would be totally different if this crime was the same as acts are committed by other like Sudras and others.
You are correct. That ordinary person, these two sides do not exist. You are either a killer or you are not a killer. Therefore, Krishna was trying to make us aware of all these religious principles that Brahmana Bandhu should not be killed, but if he is aggressor, he should be killed. And therefore, Arjuna finds a compromise that, okay, there are both these principles valid. Therefore, he finds a compromise.
Prabhu, to clarify, then if this is so for a Kshatriya, it would be a different religion would state differently. For a Shudra, it would state differently.
You are correct. So, yeah, I mean, for Kshatriya, if they are killing for protection of their kingdom, they don't have to be punished. No, there's a necessity. But if they are killing for their own sense gratification, then they have to be punished exactly as a Shudra killing. Then they have to be punished if it is for their own sense gratification. Priyanka?
Prabhuji, in 55, it is said he's indicated as twice born. What's the story behind him being twice born?
So twice born basically refers to those who get initiated. They are known as twice born, but because Ashwatthama, yes, he's born in a Brahmana family, but then goes on to clarify that he is Brahmana Bandhu. Yes, he's born in a Brahmana family, but he's not maintaining the standards. Therefore, he's a Brahmana Bandhu, and he's not actually qualified Brahmana.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Prabhuji, I was just reading the text 16 and where they say that, sorry, I missed that text. 13-14, where they say that respective warriors of both camps, namely Kaurav and Pandavas, were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So here we don't have such kind of detailed discussion about this one person who happens to be son of the teacher and happens to be a Brahma Bandhu. So for him, there is so much of discussion, but whereas they've gone ahead and killed so many people on the battlefield, and it's a Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. So why this one particular thing has been, singled out in this kind of a story and teachings woven around it?
Yeah, so you are correct. So I have described that all this discussion that Pragya is wanting to read is available in Mahabharata. But what is Srimad Bhagavatam? I have described from the start that Srimad Bhagavatam is compilation of chapters from various scriptures which are bhakti related chapters. So the next two chapters, chapter 8 and chapter 9, chapter 8 on Kunti Maharani's prayers and chapter 9 on Bhishma Dev's prayers, they both are there in Mahabharata. So the entire life of Kunti Maharani and entire life of Bhishma Dev was at Karma Kanda level. We don't need to read Karma Kanda at all. Except for these two last set of prayers, they are at bhakti level. Therefore, from Mahabharata, these two chapters are extracted and placed in Bhagavatam because we are more concerned about bhakti. And the same applies for Ashwatthama. All other details about Mahabharata are available in Mahabharata itself about the Kurukshetra war. Mahabharata scripture is about 100,000 verses, has all the details. But why do we need to worry about that? It's at Karma Kanda level. We don't need to worry about that. Therefore, we are only studying bhakti related. Here there are so many learnings for us. Therefore, this chapter 7 is relevant for us as bhakti yogis. Again, everybody.
Prabhuji, thank you. This helps a lot.
Matan Prabhu?
Yeah, I have a question. What is the significance of the jewel? The Arjuna separated the jewel from the head of Ashwatthama.
So Ashwatthama had a jewel on his head and had a boon that no one will be able to kill him. So it's just that there was this jewel and that Arjuna removed from his head. So that's the only point about this.
Okay, thank you.
So I will tell you my Pratyaksha Praman. This next statement is my Pratyaksha Praman. So Ashwatthama, we'll read in the following chapters that Ashwatthama was punished that he will live in that same body for a very, very long time on earth. So Ashwatthama is still alive, on earth right now also, suffering, that's the miseries that were punished to him from this act. The punishment will be coming up in the next chapter, the initial few verses. That punishment will come where Krishna will say that you will suffer for some 36,000 plus years on this earth in this same body. So just, it is my Prataksha Praman, not there in scripture. So on earth, we have one individual not accounted for, which is the Bigfoot. The person, they see these Bigfoot marks everywhere. My Prataksha Praman is that Bigfoot is Ashwatthama, but it's not there in scripture. I'm just trying to think that that's what it should be, because back then people used to be a little bigger than what we are today. All right, Dara, last question, and then I'll give you spiritual endeavor for next week.
Prabhuji, if Ashwatthama was not son of Dronacharya, or if he was not born in a Brahmin family, then he should have been killed?
You are correct. So that the other side of the argument which is there would have not applied if Ashwatthama was not a Brahmana Bandhu.
Okay.
All right. Spiritual endeavor. So I did not have time to answer inquiries. So I'll answer the inquiries in the following class, and I will show all the slides, including striking points, also in our next class. Spiritual endeavor for today. Three questions. First, identify arguments for and against execution of Ashwatthama. Comes from 35 to 54. Second, what was motive of Lord Krishna in outwardly encouraging Arjuna to kill Ashwatthama? Comes from verse number 55. And the third one is for the next class. Read chapter 8, verses 1 to 25. The next chapter 8 is a very, very important chapter. It talks about miseries that I have miseries in the material world. What do I do with my miseries? It's a very, very important, very, very practical chapter. And both these chapter, and specifically chapter 9 about Bhishma Dev, is my favorite chapter. The prayers of Bhishma Dev are spectacular. We'll have a very heavy discussion for the next set of classes. Thank you all for tolerating about 4 or 5 extra minutes. Any questions, or are we okay to stop here?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna,
Yes,
everyone.
Prabhuji,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
everybody.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.